When it comes to the metaverse, I have a lot of opinions involving that. A lot of negative, because I don't see the metaverse as an actual competitor towards VRchat or any other social platforms that relies on with VR. Because it just feels like more they use that as a tactic to rebrand. Since it's common for companies to do stuff like this, where they change their names to not associate with their history or any of that. So to me, it just felt like that. That was the only interesting thing of owning Facebook, since it was out of nowhere, and seeing them change their name to not associate with their history is strange. So it makes me feel like that was the purpose of Metaverse, to, draw less attention on what's going on with that, and more attention on their shitty, version of VRchat. And VRchat to me is far more interesting, far more unique social platform, since it's basically what I imagine what happens when people are allowed to be an actual internet, where they're allowed to, have the way they look, not be held back by certain specific things, and allowed to just do whatever. Like if you're a degenerate, you can basically do what you please. If you're many ways a person that seeks company, there is a platform, a place in there. If you want to fuck around, friend, you have a lot of places to go around. Like you remember, like the whole Uganda Knuckles, that shit. Like a lot of people made some pretty interesting memes that were, if not fucking around. Like VRJ just shows the full capabilities of memehood and what you can do and who you can fuck with. Like there's even people who treats it so stupidly seriously. Like they literally act like they're actually in there, or to them are, and you can use that to fuck around with them. Like there's a lot of interesting people in the platform, and how they express themselves and how they utilize VRChat is interesting. Since after all, VRChat is a very unique thing that allows people to do what they please. That you can even have the avatars of people they like that expresses a lot about themselves. Including you have the objective of anonymity, so no one knows who you are. So you basically be allowed to do a lot of stuff. Like if you want to revere yourself, that's just a choice. Like you don't have to. Like you have every right to many ways keep yourself hidden. Stuff like that is generally fascinating, and it jars me that not a lot of people have made unique, interesting videos discussing stuff like this, or any person doing research of stuff like this. Like you have many people who discuss this. Like even Swagger talked about this and about the whole strippers being in VRChat, like a literal thing. Like there's actual strip clubs where people can just hire the service of any person, no matter if it's a guy or girl who has an avatar of a hot woman or not. They would basically hire them for sexual relief, like this type of shit. Like seeing stuff like that is pretty fucking jarring. Like there is an actual strip clubs in VRChat, and that's just hilarious but fascinating. And it's generally strange you don't see people talk about that. VRChat is pretty fascinating. Like it's one of the most unique things that has many ways been made by a company of whoever. I don't know who made VRChat, but regardless, it's far more unique and far more superior to Metaverse, since Metaverse hasn't really showed us a lot of what their engine's capable of. Like, what exactly differentiates itself from other types of social platforms like that. Like making like something like this, it's expensive. It's a big project. Like companies shouldn't have gone involved in this, because no company this dumb would get involved. Like why? Since after all, technology like this isn't something you should invest into until the platform grows to a vast amount where you have more than just a million people on it. Like it's the same thing with Ready Player One. Like Ready Player One had that big example. Well, not really example, but the point morally is people didn't invest in it until later on in a few years in the future, where people have drastically used that place to escape. And due to the vast amount of people who using that technology, including people outside of the country, it shows that there's a huge market in that in that world, in Oasis. And because those companies will get invested, since companies won't get invested in anything without actually, proving to them that it is worth. It's like YouTube. YouTube was never treated seriously by anyone. Back then, YouTube was this golden place of creativity, and people were allowed to do whatever. But ever since corporations have took notice of the popularity of YouTube, realizing that it has far more hyper traffic on it, companies got involved. Like, yeah, it's bad. Like, it fucks over creators hard. Like, let's not deny that. But you can't deny that YouTube has given a lot of creators, both small and big, lots of revenue ever since companies have gotten involved. Since they now realize that a platform like this is profitable. Like, you can't deny it is. Like, it gets a lot of traffic. But things like VR, it takes time. Like, that's a timely process. VR technology isn't this big thing. It's a new thing that's slowly getting off of the space here. It's kind of like the day of gaming. Gaming took times to evolve in the state that we see today. Xbox wasn't always, had all these amazing graphics and then had all these cool games. PlayStation wasn't, sucking the cocks of a lot of Sony or whatever. And Nintendo wasn't really the king of gaming. Like, if none of this happened, like, they all started from the point where they were at the bottom and to the top. Like, Nintendo worked their asses off to really be number one. Like, in this time, people treat Nintendo far more highly than all the other companies, due to them sticking towards their original goal of making good games. Even Xbox, even though they broke a lot of what they stand for in this and that, still have many ways proven their capabilities and selling their console to more than just gaming. Like, they branched out. Like, you can see in the stores and various others where you see other things they offer than just gaming, that the consoles itself can be more than just that. And it's true, consoles can be very much utilized in other aspects, since after all, technology cannot just be made for one specific thing. You'd be amazed at what you can do when you branch something off, because you'd be basically creating a product that's worth far more than others. Like, TVs even do this, where they branch out as well, where they have other types of services on it. Like, some TVs have access to Netflix and Hulu on your remote, where you can just click a button and do it, stuff like that. Metaverse just, to me, feels like it was not, to me, is a platform that just couldn't work, and it just was pushing its luck. Like, I know Facebook has a lot of fucking money, but they wasted it a lot on marketing, and then really putting in a lot of its time and effort on developing. How they even spend that shit on, the fucking Super Bowl. Like, bitch, you know how expensive the Super Bowl is? The Super Bowl is a very expensive, but very profitable thing to get involved with. But it's also a chance where you can fail from this. Like, not every ad, is popping. Like, if you make one mistake, it's over. Like, you fucked up. You wasted a lot of money. People are not interested in your pocket. But if you succeed, there is a huge payoff. And that's the good thing about stuff like that. But the metaverse had no good payoff from that. People don't know shit what they're getting involved with. Like, no one did. Like, if you're a nerd, you've got it. But if you're just some normal casual, you wouldn't know what's going on. Like, people don't really know much about concepts like metaverse or anything. And they didn't really show us anything. It was just some weird, like fad, some stupid ass bear from Five Nights at Freddy who reconnects to his old friends on the virtual world. Like, I don't get any of that. Like, they didn't show us much of that. Like, the best metaverse was Fortnite, since it connected with a lot of companies. Like, a lot of companies you can think of. Any companies, both, some for adults, children, or anything. Got it all, like Kratos, Master Chief, various of other characters from various prominent content. Even celebrities have gotten involved with their content. It just says a lot morally and how far they succeeded on this, since their metaverse is far more impressive in a scale like to VRchat and various of others. Like, that's far more better. Like, they even had concerts. It just says a lot of Facebook's dumb decision and investing into this without proving to us as consumers that this is viable. Like, they didn't. Like, it just was used as a brand, used as a attempt to rebrand and nothing more. And that's honestly a waste of money and a waste of our time, because they had something interesting, but now they fucking wasted it. most of all, I doubt anyone would even use their platform since this is Facebook, and not a lot of people are trusting with them, with them having vast amount of information on each and every one of us, and no one will be safe having someone like them under their control, because after all, knowing Facebook, they can basically do what they please towards people due to them knowing a lot more about you than you know about yourself. But that's just my opinion that I just want to get off my chest because I was been thinking about this crap for a long while.